I'm Dr. Connie. I'm your host of Mind Your Health podcast. I share my unique perspective both as a practitioner and a patient battling autoimmune condition for over 25 years because I had to figure things out on my own, and my education in my practical approach as a patient allows me to truly integrate it so that you can be whole and the burden of sick care is no longer your own burden to carry. And this is what we help you with in this podcast.
Hi, it's Dr. Connie. Today's podcast is near and dear to my heart, as well as for many of you who are middle-aged, above 35, are experiencing some hormonal imbalances. There's some physiological changes that you just can't get your finger on, right? So today I want to talk about hormones and menopause. And most women think that menopause happens when period stops. There's this definition for it, but I just want to say that there's a phase of perimenopause that starts about 35 on up to when you actually stop bleeding and having periods, to where it might take about 11 years for that fluctuation to sort of level out and balance. So I really want to discuss the back end physiology of what's happening to you and why you're getting these hot flashes or common symptoms thereof, so that you can be clear on what you can do to empower yourself to do better so that you can be and feel your best no matter where you are. Okay. So with that being said, so I just want to say that menopause, or the symptoms of menopause, is vasomotor related. All the symptoms are vasomotor symptoms. And I just want to give you a functional medicine perspective and yoga perspective, the functional yoga medicine perspective on how you can deal with this. And in my opinion, this is the best way for you to sort of navigate your way through menopause. So you and I both know menopause is undeniably the most confusing phase of a woman's life. I remember when my mom was going through menopause, it was really a scary time. She was very moody at the time. She was crying, and then she was okay, and then she was breaking up with my dad. She threatened to leave all of us to go to Korea. It was like a really, really slippery slopes. I remember being traumatized as a teenager at the time. We were walking on eggshells, the whole family. And so I really remember that from her. I didn't go through such a slippery slopes. Mine was very natural, in my opinion. And I think it has a lot to do with yoga practice and to get me through the times. Of course, I've had some hot flashes, and I've gotten menopause a little bit early because of my autoimmunity. But my mom had it early too, so it's genetically inclined. And believe me, I'm not complaining about it at all. And I just want to say that the irregular menstrual cycle and the unpredictability of the biological changes and the emotional state all of it can negatively affect your social, work, and daily life. Seeking help for these symptoms could feel awkward, since many times women don't know how to communicate these concerns. And there's a little bit of shame around it, and whether it would be empathetically understood or not as being emotional, because there's a lot of emotional surge. So a lot of us are self-conscious about it. And at times, the complex medical terms associated with menopause can make it tough to follow the course of treatment plan. And vasomotor symptoms, VMS, primarily manifest as hot flashes and night sweats, as we all are familiar. They are among the most common and bothersome symptoms women experience during menopause, and I see this over and over in my yoga studio. And from a functional medicine standpoint, these symptoms arise due to imbalances in the body, often resulting from changes in hormone levels, primarily estrogen. And as a holistic practice, yoga can be incorporated into managing these symptoms to help achieve more of a balance in both body and mind. And that's the goal. So let's understand a little bit more about the vasomotor symptoms. So the biological mechanism behind it is really, in essence, there's a decline in estrogen levels, which then disrupt the body's temperature regulation, especially in the hypothalamus, which is part of the brain, which is the brain's thermostat. This disruption can trigger those hot flashes to occur. As for the frequency and duration, they vary greatly among women. And VMS can last anywhere from a few seconds to several minutes, and they can persist for years after menopause, up to 10 years. And it can last over a decade or two for many women, with 4 to 20 hot flashes daily being common during menopause. So, what are vasomotor symptoms, VMS? Well, the word vaso originated from Latin meaning vessel, and motor relates to movements. And vasomotor symptoms are the movement of blood vessels characterized by constriction and dilation that causes temporary irregular blood pressure that alters the body temperature, making us feel hot or sweat profusely. This temperature fluctuation causes hot flashes and night sweats, the most common symptom of perimenopause as well as menopause. Other chronic and progressive symptoms are vaginal dryness, painful intercourse, and reduced lubrication. It is seen in both premenopausal and postmenopausal phases, which can affect intimate relationships and is of great concern and stress for many women because all of a sudden we can't satisfy, let alone want to satisfy our counterparts. And apart from the sensation of heat, some women may experience palpitations, anxiety, dizziness, and even transient feelings of suffocation, further perpetuating the stress levels. And the thing of it is, most of us feel completely alone. During the menopausal transition, vasomotor symptoms impact about 80% of the women in the US and differ from region to region. And even though a wide range of symptoms is common during menopause, some are not much reported because women simply don't understand what's happening. Up to 84% of postmenopausal women deal with menopausal discomfort as part of life rather than seeking medical attention. A new long term study of women from various races and ethnicities suggests that hot flashes and night sweats can take up to 11 years to resolve for some women. And what's interesting is that the study further discovered that hot flashes lasted longer, like 9 to 10 years, if it started before the menstrual period ended, while their duration was much shorter, with 3.5 years, if women had their first hot flash after the period ended. Some menopausal symptoms can worsen with age than other menopausal symptoms that improve with time. So, how do these symptoms impact a woman's quality of life? Well, hot flashes and night sweats and vaginal dryness, along with low libido, sleeplessness, and menopausal anxiety, all add to the decline of quality of life. And the sudden outburst of work or at work of hot flashes can be daunting to handle, especially in gatherings and in social situations, making women feel self conscious and nervous. And vaginal dryness and decreased interest in sexual activities go hand in hand, impacting intimate relationships. All of these stressful changes physiologically in daily routine are enough to make any woman anxious, nervous, and depressed because it's like evidence of, oh my gosh, I'm getting old, right? Some of the other concerns include brain fog, urinary incontinence, lots of weight gain around the middle, hair loss, bone loss, muscle mass, and heart health, to name a few. This is why I want to encourage women to address menopausal discomfort and make informed lifestyle adjustments that can ease them through the process. Because the truth is, menopause is not a disease. And perimenopause, menopause, and beyond is a process that can last a while. It's part of being a woman. And it's essential to take empowered actions to fend off the unwanted consequences and really the stigma around it of hormonal imbalances. So, what does an empowered lifestyle look like? Well, number one, I need you to focus on the sleep hygiene. Good sleep is essential for normal population. So consider the following practices. Number one, stick to consistent sleep schedule. Number two, make your bedroom like very much a sanctuary, and make it cooler room so that you can manage the night sweats better. Limit the exposure to screens like TV, your phone, computer at least an hour before bedtime to decrease blue light exposure, which can interfere with melatonin production. We need all the help we can get. And if you wake up during the night, engage in deep breathing or meditation, which can help you to get back to sleep. In other words, you want to be able to manage your nervous system in your own way. Second is stress management. Chronic stress can exacerbate VMS and hormonal imbalances. So relaxation techniques, like apart from yoga, consider incorporating deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, or guided imagery. If you need help here, go follow me on my YouTube channel, Dr. Connie Chung, and you'll find a lot of library of different kinds of things you can engage in. Second is mindfulness and meditation. Regular meditation, even if it's for a minute, short period, 5 minutes, can help in managing psychological aspects of menopause. Engage in enjoyable activities. Find hobbies like reading or any leisure activity which can act as a stress buster. Get into art or learn to play the piano. That's what I'm doing. Physical activity. Here it is. Regular exercise we all know is beneficial, but specifically for menopausal women, super, super helpful, like yoga, which can help to manage body weight, improve your mood, and reduce VMS. Yes, I said it. It reduces your hot flashes and all the symptoms that go along with it. And aerobic exercises and activities like vinyasa type hot yoga, I know most of you guys are avoiding it, but it really does do a number on your cardiovascular health and your mood, which is particularly essential as heart disease risk increases after menopause. And then I want you to limit stimulants like alcohol, caffeine, which can trigger hot flashes for some women, and gradually reduce the intake of caffeinated beverages. And if you're choosing to drink alcohol, do so in moderation. And then I want you to stay hydrated. Drink adequate water throughout the day, which can help to compensate for the increased perspiration associated with the hot flashes. So what is the yoga's role in alleviating vasomotor symptoms? Number one is that it helps with stress reduction. Stress is the hallmark of all disease in the body, and stress can exacerbate VMS. And yoga practices, especially pranayama, breathing exercise, and meditation, can help to manage stress. Next is hormonal balance. Certain asanas are believed to stimulate endocrine glands, potentially helping to balance hormonal levels through the chakra balancing exercises. And cooling practices, specific yoga practices like the Shitali, which is the cooling breath, can offer immediate relief from the sensation of heat. And it offers holistic well-being. Incorporating yoga into daily life fosters a sense of well-being and helps women manage the emotional and psychological challenges of menopause by being whole. And then there's the dietary adjustments that I want you to make. Number one is learn to know phytoestrogens, what they are. These are plant compounds which can mimic the effects of estrogen in the body. Okay. Sources come from soy products like tofu, tempeh, soy milk, flaxseed, sesame seeds, and certain beans. Varied results, though, based on your individual genetic variants, right? So, but these products are carefully generated into a supplement form because it helps women to get through this phase. But I'm of the belief that you can get these things through the foods. So I think incorporating some organic tofu, I'm Asian and it's so easy for me to do, as well as opting for soy milk is a good way for you to get that in. And then there's the omega-3 fatty acids, which can help to reduce the frequency and severity of hot flashes. And then the sources of omega-3 include fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, flax seeds, chia seeds, as well as walnuts. And then generally eating whole foods. Emphasize whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables, fruits, and whole foods, right? And incorporate rainbow foods from plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins. And replace sugar foods with no sugar added foods and alternatives and drinks. You guys, sugar is in everything processed, okay? Which can cause fluctuations in your blood sugar, which raises up the insulin, which is inflammatory, which exacerbates the symptoms. And dairy and calcium fortified alternatives to support bone health, as bone density can decrease post-menopause due to decreased estrogen levels. This is why exercise is essential, specifically weight-bearing exercises. And that's why I love a lot of what we do in yoga, because we use the body weight as resistance to build bone, right? Next is limit spicy foods. For some women, spicy foods can trigger hot flashes. I love spicy foods and I don't have hot flashes. It's all well managed, so I enjoy spicy food. And limit salt. Reducing salt can help manage blood pressure, which often rises post-menopause. And then vitamin E rich foods, because some evidence research suggests that vitamin E might help in reducing the severity of VMS. Sources include almonds, spinach, and sweet potatoes. However, high dosages can have side effects, so always consult with a healthcare practitioner because it is fat soluble. We can't readily get rid of it, and so that's why you want to be mindful. Remember, everybody is different and everybody's triggers can vary. So it might take some time and experimentation to figure out what lifestyle and dietary changes work best. Monitoring symptoms and making note of any patterns or triggers can be beneficial in tailoring a personal strategy. Always consult with healthcare doctor or a nutritionist professional before making significant changes to your diet and lifestyle. I'm always taking new clients, so always seek my help as well. But I share a lot of these tidbits in my channel, both on Instagram, on YouTube, as well as my podcast. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would love to hear more about what you're experiencing right now and what your questions might be, because I hear this a lot at my wellness center at Functional Yoga Medicine. And a lot of the women, they can't put a finger on something, but their gut is affected, their weight gain, their hair thinning, as well as bone loss, as well as muscle mass is shrinking. And it's all telltale signs of aging. And a lot of my women are stressed out about it. So if that's you, reach out, follow me for more. And thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Mind Your Health podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, we would so much love it and appreciate it if you share it with someone who could benefit as well as to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else where podcasts are found. And leave us a review. We would be so grateful, and it helps us to reach more people just like you, so you can become more empowered to enjoy longevity and health. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Dr. Connie Chung. And of course, you can subscribe to this podcast for a new episode every single week.